What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Wine Nerd Kitchen. Thanks for joining today. Today we're going to make one of my favorite breakfast casseroles. It is the soon-to-be famous, because it's not famous yet, Wine Family breakfast casserole that we used to have every Christmas. I now make it for Christmas, Thanksgiving. It's very easy to make. The ingredients are all laid out here. There's only one key, and that's you have to let it marinate overnight, which is a key thing in making this casserole. So I have my Pyrex out, my 9x13 Pyrex out. I've got my eggs, some cheese, bread, some mushrooms, cream of mushroom soup, and sausage. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the oven on. I have to dry the bread out. Now, you can use between 6 and 8 slices of bread. I like to use 8 because I like it a little bit bigger because the casserole will actually expand as it's going. So I'm going to turn the oven on and turn to your oven's lowest setting. I do mine and say 200, hit go, and it says, okay, it's on low. And so I'm going to let that just warm up. What you're trying to do is you're going to take this bread and just dry it out because you want the bread to soak up all the other things that you're about to see me do. So that's step one. Step two is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to get my Owen sausage. So the recipe calls for 1 pack, which is a 16 ounce of Owen's pork sausage. You can use Jimmy Dean, you can use other brands, but it will not taste the same without Owens. And no, Owens is not paying me for this, but Owens is the best. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up the old skillet here, turn the fan on, and let's let this rip. So we're going to let that get nice and hot. And I probably should have gotten a knife over here. I always forget things. Need scissors. Cut this guy open here just like this. Wait till this gets hot, and I'm going to take the sausage and put it on that skillet just like this. That looks so good. Owen sausage. Let that get nice and hot, get it on high, and off the races we go. So we're going to get that sausage cooking over here. Kind of break it up and get that sausage so it cooks all the way through. And then once my oven heats up and gets to the lowest temperature setting that you can get your onion to, get that sausage. Give me a big old piece of sausage. That's what you need. Thank God for editing. All right, so I'm browning my sausage. Once the oven gets to 200 degrees or so, I'm going to get my bread. I'm going to put my bread in the oven. Now, I just let it directly on the rack. You can put it on a pan if you want to. I think it turns out better because all you're trying to do is basically dry the bread out. So I'm going to take 8 pieces of this good old large white bread, and I'm going to grab it just like this. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8 pieces, just like that. It's almost a half a loaf. Get that spun up, put it back where it belongs. And I'm just going to lay this on the oven rack so it dries out. And it takes it a while. Now that says keep your oven cracked open is what the recipe calls for. So I'm just going to throw it up in there like that and keep it on the racks. Just like that. It says keep your oven open. Some ovens are okay with you keeping it open, some aren't. Doesn't matter, just let it dry out. That's all you're trying to do. So while that's going, I'm continuing to stir my meat. Grinding up this Owen sausage is so good. It smells good. I love Owen sausage. Turn the heat down a little bit to medium there. And we're kind of waiting for that to go, so it's time to take another sip of drink. A little Crown of Coke action here. So good. So while that's going on, I'm going to get my mixture going. So I've got my pan here. I need to make sure I spray it with cooking spray. So Pam's the one that brought this recipe to the Wine Family, so we're going to spray it with Pam. Let's get some Pam. Little Pam here, spray the bottom of that thing right there. Just like that. There we go. All right, so now we've got our Pam on there. We continue to stir our meat, making sure we don't burn it. One of my favorite stories about this recipe is we went to Susie's family my wife's family for Christmas, on Christmas Eve, and during Christmas Eve, we had went and bought sausage and all the ingredients to make this stuff, and I had put everything up except I had left sausage on the counter, and we didn't have any backup sausage. And so we got back to the house late at night after driving back from Bonham. It's about an hour drive. We get back here and I don't have any sausage, and I was going to prepare this just like I'm preparing for you today. Well, couldn't find sausage anywhere, so grocery stores are all closed. It's Christmas Eve. So what do? I drive to McDonald's. I'm like, I'll just get some sausage biscuits. So I go get some sausage biscuits. Well, right in the middle of me ordering / driving up to pay, the power goes out to the McDonald's. So they're like, we can't charge you for this. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. I still want my sausage. Like, nope, we can't give it to you because we can't charge. I'm like, just give it. Here's cash. I don't care. Just give me this. Nope, couldn't do it. Long story short, tried 5 or 6 other places. Couldn't find any sausage. Ended up going to a QT gas station, and they had frozen sausage in a bag. And the guy went to the back. I told him the story, what happened. He went and got it for me, gave it to me. I tried to pay him. He wouldn't pay it for me. That's a pay it forward story. I love it. So we still had breakfast casserole. It wasn't as good because it wasn't Owen sausage, but it was pretty darn good. So it was a lot of fun. So my sausage is almost browned over here. You just want to make sure there's no red. Make sure it's cooked thoroughly all the way through. Just like that. Just kind of let that brown a little bit more. Turn it down to medium low. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my mix that's going to go on top of this. So what we're going to do is it's going to be layered with bread, and it's going to also have on top of it this mixture. So what we're going to start with here is we're going to combine eggs. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eggs and put it in a mixture right here. I need a discard bowl so I can discard the shells because you don't want crunchy eggs, that's for sure. We'll put it in there just like this. Ooh, we're getting egg everywhere. That's good. Just like that. Look at that. That's trying to come out. Ooh, look at that. Okay. Just like that. So now we got our eggs done. I'm gonna put the eggs to the side. Now that we've got our shells to the side, I'm gonna stir these eggs up and get them mixed up together, just like I'm scrambling eggs. And you can use, if you want a smaller, like if you have a smaller family, you can use less eggs if you want to, but the recipe calls for 4, 6, or 8 eggs, so you can kind of decide how big you want to make this thing. Okay, so now my eggs are good and stirred up, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1.5 or 2.5, cups of milk. So I'm going to go, there's 1 cup of milk, 2 cups of milk, and there is a half. Now I like to use, if you're from Texas, this 1836 milk is the best. It's in a glass container. If you're up north, Oberweis has the same exact thing where they give it in glass containers. It's really, really, really good fresh milk. This is my preference, but any whole milk will work. Just don't use that 1% or 2% milk because that's just watery milk and it's not real milk. And while we wait for this sausage to cook, we'll do a little drinking. All right, so now we've got our sausage over here that's cooked really well. Just like that. So I'm going to turn that off. Just like that. That looks delicious. I can smell that Owen sausage. Alright, so now we've got this going and stirred up. Now, it is an option to add a little bit of dried mustard to this. I don't do that. I don't prefer that. I don't like the flavor of the dried mustard in it, but you can add that. If you want to add that, it's 3/4 teaspoon, so it's just a little bitty amount of dried mustard. I prefer it without, so that's the way I make it. So here we go. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to combine our cream of mushroom soup. So it takes 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. We're going to go just like this. Get that there. Boom, 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 boom. All right, we're going to throw that away. Woo! All right. Now we're going to add a little milk to it. So the recipe calls for you to add a 1/2 cup of milk. So I just kind of eyeball it and go, that's about a half. That's good. And we're going to take that. We're going to stir that up too. Again, our bread, what we're waiting on right now is our bread is in the oven. Bread's already baked. We're not baking the bread, we're drying the bread out. That's what we're doing. We're drying that old bread out. We want dry bread. We want it drier than an old baseball glove is what we're looking for. Like a leathered old woman is what we're looking for. Dry old bread. All right. Here we go. So we're just looking, that's the topping. So this is what goes on top of it. This is the topping on top of that. And then what we have is our mushrooms here. And so it calls for a can of mushrooms. Stems and pieces is what I use. You can use any kind of mushrooms you want, but they need to be the ones in the can. If you use the other ones, they're just not as good. I'm gonna dump the juice out of those guys there. Get them ready to go. I love some mushrooms, so good. I'm gonna check on that bread. Let's check on the bread, see what the bread's doing. Nope, not dry yet. Gotta wait for the bread to dry. All right, so I'm getting the bread out now. We got the bread ready to go. You know it's ready to go when you get in here and you kind of feel it and it feels crunchy. It's kind of hard, almost like, well, it's dried bread's what it is. So what you're gonna do is take the bread and just kind of peel it up into chunks. It doesn't have to be perfect, there's no art to this. And you're just trying to get a layer on the bottom of dried bread. And so what that's gonna do is soak up all the other ingredients that we have. So I just kind of tear it, rip it, and off the races we go. You just don't want big chunks because it'll work better if you have smaller chunks. So I'm just take this bread and just rip it up into little pieces like this until you get the bottom layer on there with all the bread. And you can hear it's kind of crunchy. Hopefully in the mic you can hear that. Just kind of crunchy and just kind of dry. So it is, there we go. Got some dried bread there. Here's the rest of the pieces. So now what you do, once you get this done, we're almost to the finish line at this point. Just kind of make it level, just like that. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your sausage and you put your sausage on top. Just like that. And I kind of spread it out evenly. Just like this. And get that sausage on top. I try not to get the grease on there, but it's okay if a little bit of grease gets on there. It's not that big a deal. Just like that. All right, now we've got our bread as the base layer. We've got the sausage on top of that. And now what we need to do is get our cheese and our mushrooms on there. And so what we're gonna do is, the recipe calls for a cup of cheese, but I'm not gonna waste a bag. I like it cheesy, so I'm gonna do 2 cups of cheese. Just sprinkle on there. I like the shredded sharp cheese is what I like, because I think it tastes better. So I'm just gonna do that just like this and get a lot of cheese in there, kind of mix it around so it's all flat and all looks kind of even, just like that. Now, when my kids were younger, they didn't like mushrooms. And so what I would do, and this is an option to do, is you can do mushrooms on half of it. And that's what I used to do. Now, I'd rather them not eat my stuff. I'm just kidding, they like them now. They're okay with eating them, but you just do it on the whole thing and get the mushrooms and kind of scatter them across the top. You can double up and do more mushrooms if you really like mushrooms. I like mushrooms because I'm a fun guy, but you know, hey, it just depends on what you like. So we put those mushrooms on the top just like that. And so now you've got your base of your amazing, almost famous wine family breakfast casserole. So now what you do, I've got my mixture of eggs and milk right here with the optional mustard. I'm gonna do a little bit of salt and pepper. The pepper, I don't know, maybe a teaspoon, if even that, half teaspoon, something like that. A little bit of salt. I like that old sea salt. Just like that. And so now what you're gonna do is pour this on top of your mixture, just like this. And just pour it across the top as evenly as you can. Oh, we spilled a little bit on the counter, that's okay. Boom, now it's on there. Last step, last and final step of this breakfast casserole. And that is we're gonna take our cream of mushroom soup mix with the milk, and we're gonna pour it across the top as evenly as we can. Just like this. Now, what's gonna happen is you're gonna stick it, as I told you, in the fridge overnight. And this baby is going to just let that bread soak up all that cream of mushroom goodness. And then we're gonna bake it. So you will see me again, because I'm not gonna let this video go for 24 hours until morning. I'm gonna let you look at this, and we're gonna stick it in the refrigerator overnight. Just kind of smooth it out just like that. And then in the morning, we are going to bake it, and it's gonna be amazing. It's a wine family tradition right here. It's good for parties. I've taken it to work before, when they want a work event or something like that. Just get this wiped up here, just like that. And so what you have now is the beginning of goodness. there is that breakfast casserole. I can't tip it too far, obviously. So what you're gonna do tomorrow, when I get back tomorrow, we're gonna get it out of the fridge, just refrigerate it overnight. I'm gonna cover it with saran wrap, and then we're gonna bake it for 300 degrees for an hour and a half. 300 degrees, I'm sorry, 300 degrees for an hour and a half. And it serves 6 to 8 people. But if you're in our family, it serves 4 people, because we will eat this all tomorrow. Thanks for joining. Make sure you like and subscribe, hit that thumbs up so you get notifications of when I have these videos on here. And thank you for joining the channel. And Wine Nerd is out.